Hello class, today we're looking at parallel and perpendicular lines and their equations. So the essential question is, how do I identify parallel and perpendicular lines? My learning intention. I'm learning to identify parallel and perpendicular lines from diagrams and equations. So for your warm-up question, this is our angle addition postulate where when you add the angles together, you get the bigger angle. So this is what you're given. You're given that the measure of angle LKN, this whole thing, is 145 degrees. So now you need to find X and find the two angle measures. Pause the video and do the warm-up on your own, please. Well, I do hope you tried. So we know when we add them together, we get 145 degrees. 2x plus 10 degrees plus 4x minus 3 degrees is equal to 145 degrees. Combine your like terms. I've got 2x and I've got 4x. I have 10 and negative 3. So when I simplify, I've got 2x plus 4x is 6x. I've got 10 minus 3, which is 7. 6x plus 7 is equal to 145 degrees. So start by subtracting 7 from both sides. 145 minus 7 is 138. 6x is equal to 138. Divide by 6. And x is equal to 23 degrees. Okay, now, I know what x is. I have to use substitution to find my two angle measures. 2x plus 10 is equal to 2 times 23 plus 10, which is equal to 46 plus 10, which is equal to 56 degrees. Okay, for the other one, I can take 145 minus 56, and get 89. Or I can substitute in, I can take 4x minus 3 would give me 4 times 23 minus 3. Once again, it will give me 89 degrees. How are you going to do it? Whichever way your brain makes the most sense of. Both are equally correct, and you can do either one. Just make sure it's the one that you are most comfortable doing. So, geometry is very, very much about definitions. So we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines, and we're going to define them again. Parallel lines are what? They are coplanar lines that never intersect. Okay. What about their slopes? Parallel lines have slopes that are the same. Okay, what about perpendicular lines? Are they also coplanar? Well, if they're not going to be perpendicular. So they're coplanar lines. That intersect to form what kind of angles? Right angles. And remember that right angles are 90-degree angles. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite, reciprocals. An example would be 3/2 and -2/3. So we've got two forms of lines that we're looking at. One is the slope-intercept and one is the point-slope form. Y is equal to mx plus b. There should not be a p over here. And y minus y sub 1 is equal to m multiplied by the quantity of x minus x sub 1, where x sub 1 and y sub 1 is a point on the line. Okay, so identify the slope and write the equation of a line parallel to this line in slope-intercept form and point-slope form. So this is parallel. We know that this slope has to be the same. So our slope has got to be -3x, or -3. So to be parallel, y is equal to -3x. Now for b, anything that is not -9. How about +4? That'll work. Y is equal to -3x plus 8. I could have -101. As long as your b value is not -9, you're fine. Okay, what about the point-slope form? So y minus something is equal to -3 times x minus something. Now, what we're looking at here is the fact that one of the points, your y-intercept would be 0 or -9. Okay, so if I put the -9 here, then anything I put over here, with the exception of 0, is going to be parallel. So let's put 2. 2 is not equal to 0. The only thing I have to do now is to simplify. So y plus 9 is equal to -3 times the quantity of x minus 2, and it will be parallel. Okay, once again, we're going to identify the slope and write the equation of a line parallel to this line in slope-intercept form and point-slope form. This time, this is in point-slope form. So if I'm looking at this, 1/2 is my slope. Okay, for a point on the line, it would be 6, 7, because remember, it is the opposite of these numbers. So this is x, this is y, that's a point on the line. What I need to know is where does it go across? Well, I think it's going to be easiest to do it in point slope form and then use that same equation and convert it into slope intercept form. So if I keep the -6, or the 6 here, then I need to change the value here. So y minus, what is a number different than 7? Let's put, instead of -7, let's put +2 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 6. Okay, so that's going to be parallel. Let's change it to slope-intercept form. First thing I have to do is to distribute the 1/2. Y plus 2 is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. Half of 6 is 3. Subtract 2 from both sides. Y is equal to 1/2 x minus 5. These two are the exact same line, just different forms of the linear equation. Okay, that is how you do it when you know the slope and you have it in one of the two forms. What if you know a point on the line that you want to make it parallel to? So we know that we want it to go through this point, but we want it to be parallel to this equation. Step 1, identify your slope. M is equal to -2. Step 2, we know that y is equal to -2x plus b. Now I've got to find b. I do know one point that I can use to find b with, the point 3, -1. So I'm going to substitute in y is -1 is equal to -2 times 3 plus b. I substitute that point in for x and y. Now I solve for b. -1 is equal to -6 plus b. Add 6 to both sides. -1 plus 6 is 5, is equal to b. Now I'm ready to finish up. Y is equal to -2x plus 5. That's your answer. What if it's through 1, -1, and parallel to y is equal to -3? Our slope is 0. But what do we know about any line that's going to be parallel to y is equal to -3? It's got to start with y is equal to something. So where am I going to find that number? Well, I'm going to look back up here at my y value. Y is equal to -1, and you are done. Any questions? Okay, the next one is perpendicular. We haven't worked much with perpendicular yet. So the original slope is 2. Perpendicular slope will be -1 over 2. Opposite reciprocals. So the equation I'm going to use to find b is y is equal to -1/2 x plus b. Here's my x and y. Negative 1 is equal to negative 1/2 times negative 2 plus b. Negative 1 is equal to negative times negative is a positive. 1/2 of x is 1 plus b. Subtract 1 from both sides. Negative 2 is equal to b. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 2. Okay, pause the video and see if you can do the last one on your own. I hope you tried on your own, and this is just a quick check to see if you got it okay. So your original slope is 2/3. Your perpendicular slope will be negative 3/2. The equation I used to find my b value is y is equal to negative 3/2 x plus b. Now I'm ready to find b. Negative 3 is equal to negative 3/2 times 6 plus b. Okay, simplify. Negative 3 is equal to negative 3 times 6 is negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9 plus b. Add 9 to both sides. Negative 3 plus 9 is 6, which is equal to our b. So y is equal to negative 3/2 x plus 6. And I'm done. How do you know when you're successful? When you can identify parallel and perpendicular lines and write their equations. So parallel. Same slope. Perpendicular. Opposite reciprocals.